Welcome back, everyone. Only a few weeks have passed since President Donald Trump assumed office for his second term, and already the White House is bustling with action. President Donald Trump is issuing executive orders at a rapid pace, with three major issues gaining significant attention: immigration, climate change, and tariffs. What's the plan? What's already happened? And what does it all mean for you? Stick around as we unpack what we've learned so far from Trump's first 100 days. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Let's start with immigration, Trump's signature issue. Right out of the gate, he signed orders to kick off what he's calling the largest deportation operation in American history. We're talking 15 to 20 million people, according to his team, though estimates peg the undocumented population closer to 11 million. Day one saw a national emergency declared at the southern border, unlocking federal funds to resume border wall construction. Remember that wall from his first term? It's back. And this time, he's got Republican majorities in Congress to push funding through fast. Experts at Boston University say this is creating a climate of fear and chaos in immigrant communities. Orders have also ended birthright citizenship for kids of undocumented parents, a move already slammed as blatantly unconstitutional by a federal judge. Lawsuits are piling up, but Trump's team isn't slowing down. What's next? Mass workplace raids and a return of the Remain in Mexico policy. Buckle up. This is just the beginning. Next up, climate change, or rather the undoing of it. Trump's made it crystal clear he's not here for green agendas. One of his first moves? Withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement. Again, it'll take a year to finalize, but the signal's loud. Fossil fuels are king. He's fast-tracking energy permits, opening Alaska's wilderness for oil drilling, and rolling back Biden-era rules on tailpipe emissions and energy-efficient appliances. Ann Short-Gianotti from BU says this goes beyond his first term. It's a full-on assault on environmental regs. Drill, baby! Drill isn't just a slogan anymore, it's policy. Critics warn this could spike inflation if energy costs soar, but Trump's betting on energy independence to win over voters. What do you think? Smart move or risky gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now let's talk tariffs. The economic bombshell of Trump's first 100 days. He's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting February 1st, plus a hefty 60% on Chinese goods. Day one didn't see those tariffs drop yet, but he's ordered a review of trade practices, targeting unfair deals. Economists are sounding the alarm. Higher tariffs could mean pricier goods, from cars to groceries, hitting your wallet hard. Inflation, interest rates, they could climb too. But here's the twist. Trump's paused a TikTok ban for 75 days, hinting at a softer stance after his campaign videos racked up billions of views. Is this a trade war or a drug war? His team says it's about fentanyl and border security, not just economics. Either way, Canada, Mexico, and China are bracing for impact. Will this America First strategy pay off? We'll find out soon. So what's the vibe out there? Chaos, excitement, and a whole lot of lawsuits. Attorneys general from 22 states are fighting the birthright citizenship order, while immigrant rights groups sue over asylum crackdowns. On the flip side, Trump's base is fired up. On 500 January, 6 rioters got pardons, and his Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, is promising to slash federal spending. The first 100 days aren't even half over, and already Trump's rewriting the playbook. Will these moves stick, or will the courts slam the brakes? One thing's for sure, it's a dizzying pace, and we're all along for the ride. That's what we've learned so far from Trump's first 100 days. Immigration, climate change, and tariffs are just the start. What's your take? Are these executive orders genius or a disaster waiting to happen? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll keep you posted as Trump's second term unfolds. Check out these videos next for more on his presidency, and I'll see you in the next one. Join me as I dive into the crazy world of politics and challenge myself to unpack Trump's latest move to push red state rules on blue states. A clashing vision for America. Imagine waking up one day to discover your state's policies imposed upon by the federal government, erasing values your state fought hard to uphold. This isn't fiction. It's the reality of former President Donald Trump's latest maneuver. By leveraging federal authority, Trump strives to enforce red state social policies on blue states, sparking a fierce national battle over core rights and local autonomy. Trump's executive orders target polarizing issues, from banning transgender athletes in school sports to restricting diversity initiatives and limiting abortion access. His policies strike at ideological flashpoints. Democratic-controlled states, having rejected these measures through legislation, now face federal pressure to comply, igniting lawsuits and public outrage. Proponents argue these actions combat perceived unfair advantages or discrimination, framing them as a defense of civil rights. Critics, however, view them as veiled assaults on minority groups and progressive ideals, painting a grim picture of a federal government trampling state sovereignty under the guise of moral policing. Historically, federal efforts sought to expand rights and ensure equality across states. But Trump's approach flips the script, rolling back state-protected freedoms. His focus on enforcing abortion restrictions, curbing gender-affirming care, and silencing race-related discussions in classrooms has drawn parallels to past eras of restrictive policies. Legal experts warn this unprecedented push could reshape American federalism. The courts have already intervened to block many of these orders. Yet the fight rages on, with the Supreme Court likely to play a pivotal role. States' rights, once a Republican mantra, now hang in the balance as federal authority is wielded like never before. America's red-blue divide has deepened, reflecting a fundamental shift in how states assert their autonomy. Trump's goals to enforce voter ID laws, loosen gun restrictions nationally, and suppress immigration sanctuary policies pit federal rule against state governance, undermining a delicate balance. This push not only exacerbates existing divisions but also raises critical questions. Should the federal government dictate policies that undermine local will? Do such moves erode the democratic fabric, allowing diverse regional identities to flourish? These questions resonate far beyond red or blue states. As citizens, we cannot afford to passively witness the remapping of rights and values. Our voices matter. Stay informed. Engage in dialogue. Demand that both state and federal governments respect the principles of fairness and autonomy that define America. The cornerstone of democracy lies in protecting, not undermining, every state's right to self-determination. Join the conversation as we delve into the state of our world under Trump's presidency. From politics to economy, and from the environment to social justice, we're exploring the impact of Trump's rule on our global community. With controversies and scandals dominating the headlines, it's time to take a closer look at the changes happening around us. What are the consequences of Trump's decisions, and how are they shaping our future? Tune in to find out. Is the world irrevocably changed? The Trump administration's policies sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving a complex legacy that continues to shape international relations. Let's dissect the key areas where his America First approach has left its mark. Donald Trump's presidency was defined by a starkly nationalistic agenda. America First became the mantra, prioritizing domestic interests above international cooperation. This approach, characterized by protectionism and unilateralism, fundamentally reshaped the global landscape. The focus on national interests, while appealing to some, triggered a wave of uncertainty. Traditional alliances were questioned, and established international norms were challenged. The world watched as the United States charted a new, often unpredictable course. One of the most visible impacts of Trump's policies was in the realm of international trade. He aggressively imposed tariffs on goods from China, Mexico, and the European Union. These tariffs were intended to protect American industries and jobs. However, these actions sparked immediate retaliatory measures from affected countries. This tit-for-tat escalation led to what many economists termed a global trade war. The consequences were far-reaching and complex. While proponents argued that tariffs would revitalize American manufacturing, critics pointed to rising costs for consumers and businesses. The increased cost of imported goods ultimately impacted the wallets of everyday Americans. The potential for long-term economic instability loomed large. Trump's administration also made headlines by withdrawing from several key international agreements. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change were among the most prominent. These decisions signaled a shift away from multilateralism. Supporters of these withdrawals argued that they allowed the United States to focus on its own sovereignty. They also contended that these agreements were unfair to American interests. This resonated with a segment of the population that felt globalization had left them behind. However, critics argued that these withdrawals weakened global cooperation on critical issues. Abandoning the Paris Agreement, in particular, was seen as undermining progress on combating climate change. The long-term consequences of these decisions are still unfolding. Trump's foreign policy marked a significant departure from traditional approaches. He favored a more transactional approach, often questioning the value of long-standing alliances. This shift rattled many of America's closest partners. He frequently criticized NATO allies for not spending enough on defense. This put a strain on relationships that had been cornerstones of international security for decades. The message was clear. America expected more from its allies. The withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal and the imposition of sanctions on Russia and Venezuela further complicated the global landscape. These actions, while intended to address specific security concerns, created new tensions with both allies and adversaries. The America First policy was perceived by many as a rejection of global leadership. Some viewed it as a return to isolationism, a retreat from the world stage. This perception had a tangible impact on America's global standing. Polls showed a decline in favorability ratings for the United States in many countries. The perception of America as a reliable partner diminished. In some regions, anti-American sentiment rose. The long-term consequences of this shift in global perception remain to be seen. However, it is clear that Trump's policies have had a significant impact on how the world views the United States. The question is whether this damage is repairable. The impact of Trump's policies is multifaceted and complex. There is an ongoing debate about whether they ultimately strengthened America or weakened international cooperation. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Some argue that his policies revitalized the American economy and protected American workers. Others contend that they damaged international relations and undermined global stability. Both sides have valid points. Regardless of one's perspective, it is undeniable that Trump's presidency left a lasting mark on the world. The long-term consequences of his policies will continue to be debated and analyzed for years to come. The world has changed, and the challenge now is to navigate the new landscape he helped create. The Trump era has undeniably reshaped the global order, leaving behind a complex web of consequences that demand careful consideration. Now, it's your turn to engage. Research the specific impacts of these policies on your region. Share your insights in the comments below, and most importantly, contact your elected officials to advocate for policies that promote a more stable and cooperative world. Let's work together to build a future where American interests are balanced with global responsibility. As Donald Trump takes office, Americans are left wondering what's in store for the country in 2025. The 45th President of the United States faces numerous challenges, ranging from economic growth to foreign policy, healthcare to education. Let's dive into the top priorities for the Trump administration and what it means for the American people. From job creation to national security, we'll explore the potential implications of Trump's policies and what the future may hold. So, what's next for America in 2025? Watch to find out. Following his inauguration on January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump has outlined an ambitious agenda that aims to significantly reshape U.S. policy across multiple sectors. His plans include a mix of executive actions, legislative initiatives, and broader strategic goals. On his first day in office, Trump intends to implement around 100 executive orders aimed at reversing many policies established by the Biden administration. Key actions expected to be taken include border security and immigration. Trump plans to close the U.S.-Mexico border and reinstate travel bans. He has promised to initiate what he calls the largest mass deportation operation in U.S. history, focusing on removing undocumented immigrants who are criminals or have been ordered deported. Ending birthright citizenship. An executive order is anticipated to reinterpret the law regarding birthright citizenship, which would prevent children born to undocumented immigrants from automatically receiving U.S. citizenship. Pardons for January 6 convicts. Trump has expressed intentions to pardon individuals convicted for their roles in the January 6 Capitol riot. Rolling back climate policies. He aims to revoke various environmental regulations and policies implemented under the Biden administration, including those related to electric vehicles and fossil fuel production. Beyond immediate executive actions, Trump has articulated broader goals that will guide his administration. Economic reforms. Trump plans to implement significant tax reductions and reduce government expenditures. He aims to work with business leaders like Elon Musk to enhance government efficiency. Health and food systems. Overhaul. His administration intends to reform health policies with input from figures like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is known for his skepticism about vaccines. Foreign policy initiatives. Trump has claimed he could resolve the ongoing conflict in Ukraine swiftly and intends to adopt a tougher stance against Russia compared to the previous administration. Reclaiming presidential powers. Trump seeks to expand presidential authority over government spending, potentially challenging congressional directives regarding budget allocations. Trump's inauguration will feature a series of ceremonial events, including a service at St. John's Episcopal Church, the swearing-in ceremony at the U.S. Capitol, a presidential parade down Pennsylvania Avenue, several inaugural balls where he will deliver remarks. Overall, Trump's return to office is marked by a commitment to his America First agenda, aiming for a radical transformation of federal policies and governance structures. His plans are expected to face significant legal challenges, and require cooperation with Congress for full implementation. Melania Trump. Dealer, and her mother worked in fashion. Little did they know their daughter would one day become one of the most recognized women in the world. Her modeling career in Palm Beach, Florida. The event was a spectacle of wealth and celebrity. The marriage catapulted Melania into the American spotlight. Melania's every move was analyzed and dissected by the media. Her fashion choices, her body language, and her public statements were all subject to intense scrutiny. This constant attention took a toll. She had to learn to navigate the political landscape. She also had to learn to balance her husband's agenda. This perception fueled negative narratives. Despite the criticism, Melania remained largely stoic. She rarely responded to her detractors. She seemed determined to forge her own path as First Lady. One perspective is that Melania's transformation was a calculated move. It was a strategic shift from private life to a carefully curated public persona. of her image. She used it to her advantage. She carefully managed her public persona to protect herself and her family. Another perspective is that Melania especially her son Barron, was unwavering. She prioritized their well-being above all else. This demonstrated her dedication to her role as a mother. Regardless of the motivations behind it, Melania's transformation is undeniable. She went from a relatively unknown model to a figure of global interest. This was a dramatic shift in her life. She navigated the complexities of the political arena with grace and poise. She also faced intense scrutiny with remarkable resilience. This demonstrated her strength and determination. She shaped her own role as First Lady. She did this by focusing on issues that were important to her. She also did it by maintaining a sense of privacy and independence. Her journey is a testament to her ability to adapt and evolve. It also shows her ability to thrive in the face of adversity. She left an indelible mark on American history. Melania Trump's journey from Slovenian model to First Lady of the United States is a remarkable story. It is marked by both praise and criticism. It is also a story of transformation and adaptation for years to come. What do you think of Melania Trump's transformation? Was it a calculated move, a personal journey, or a combination of both? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more in-depth analyses of political figures and events. Click the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow politics enthusiasts. Join me as I dive deep into the surprising choices for Trump's cabinet and try to figure out what's really behind them. Get ready for a journey through the intriguing world of President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks. We'll explore familiar faces, delve into controversies, and uncover the administration's strategic moves. Strap in for insights and analysis you won't want to miss. As Donald Trump assumed office, his cabinet selections captured widespread attention. Blending allies with contentious figures, these nominees sparked discussions nationwide. So, who are these individuals, and why is there so much buzz around them? Securing a cabinet position isn't just a matter of nomination. Each appointee must pass through the rigorous Senate confirmation process. Here, we examine the dynamics and potential roadblocks for Trump's selections. Linda McMahon, slated for Secretary of Education, entered the spotlight. Her experience in the private sector raised eyebrows. What does her nomination mean for education policies, and why might it ignite controversy in the Senate? Nominated as Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick brings with him a corporate pedigree. We explore his business acumen alongside the critiques he faces. With a mission to reshape commerce policies, Lutnick stands at a pivotal intersection. Health and Human Services nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. steps into a challenging role. Known for his controversial vaccine views, his policies could redefine public health. How does his stance impact not only his confirmation, but also the future of healthcare. Chris Wright, the choice for Secretary of Energy, is amid environmental discourse. With a history of challenging climate change narratives, his policies could transform energy strategies. Let's dive into Wright's past and potential impact on the nation's energy sector. Sean Duffy was named by Trump to head the Department of Transportation. Duffy is a co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business and served as a congressman for Wisconsin's 7th Congressional District in the northwest part of the state from 2011 to 2019. Doug Burgum nominated as Secretary of the Interior. Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota since 2016, was named by Trump to become the Secretary of the Interior on Navicar 14. Trump said the announcement would be official the following day. Doug Collins, a former Republican congressman from Georgia's 9th District, has been appointed as the Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Collins, a chaplain of the U.S. Air Force Reserve Command, operates support programs for veterans and their families. Matt Gaetz, a U.S. congressman from Florida's 1st Congressional District since 2017, announced his resignation from Congress after being nominated. The House Ethics Committee has investigated him for allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Marco Rubio, a Florida senator, was appointed as the Secretary of State on November 13th. He serves on the Senate Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committees and is responsible for the nation's foreign policy and international relations. Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic U.S. representative from Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District, is now the Director of National Intelligence. She served in the Army National Guard for over 2 decades and was deployed to Iraq and Kuwait. Gabbard joined the U.S. Army Reserve in 2021 and was promoted to lieutenant colonel. She was a member of the House Committee on Homeland Security for 2 years, but lacks extensive experience in intelligence operations. Senate confirmation is required. Pete Hegseth, a Fox News host and Army veteran, is set to become the Secretary of Defense. Despite his combat experience, Hegseth is seen as a Pentagon outsider, favoring firing woke generals, eliminating combat roles for women, and easing troop conduct restrictions. Kristi Noem, South Dakota's governor since 2019, has been praised for sending the South Dakota National Guard to the southern border. She was criticized for killing her 14-month-old dog for being untrainable in a memoir. Homeland Security is responsible for public safety and security. Senate confirmation is required. John Ratcliffe, former Director of National Intelligence during Trump's first administration, served as the Republican House member for the 4th District of Texas from 2015 to 2020. He was first nominated for the intelligence job in 2019, but withdrew due to questioned qualifications. In 2020, he was nominated again and confirmed by the Senate. The CIA collects, analyzes, and shares intelligence information to protect national security. Elise Stefanik, a New York representative and former chair of the House Republican Conference, is the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She represents the U.S. at the United Nations and was reportedly on Trump's 2024 running mate list. Senate confirmation is required. Lee Zeldin, former New York House representative, is set to become the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, which protects human health and the environment through anti-pollution regulations, research, and cleanup operations, with Senate confirmation required. Zeldin is expected to help roll back Biden-era climate regulations amid Trump's fossil fuel energy expansion. Repesh Mike Waltz, a decorated Green Beret combat veteran and member of the House Armed Services Committee, has been serving as the National Security Advisor since 2019. He has demanded increased defense spending from NATO allies and questioned the U.S. blank check for Ukraine in its war with Russia. As Trump's cabinet forms, America stands at a crossroads. Tune in to witness a defining era in politics. Share your thoughts, join the conversation, and stay engaged. Remember, your voice matters in shaping the future. Subscribe today and let's journey forward together. Ready to embark on an exploration of political innovation and transformation? Engage with us, subscribe for more insights, and let's unravel the future of America's administration. Your curiosity fuels this narrative. Join us on this dynamic journey.